Hello, my name is Rosalie Lopez, and I'm an artist from the Los Angeles area. I have a BFA from California State University, Long Beach, where I first started studying printmaking. And then I later went to Indiana University, where I got an MFA in printmaking. I've since worked in different community arts organizations, doing public art projects with the community. And now I teach at different college institutions around the Los Angeles area in the areas of foundation art and printmaking. As an artist, I use printmaking, installation art, and sculpture to talk about family histories of resilience. And I also use ideas around Day of the Dead to talk about, or altars and offerings to talk about family histories and stories. And I've since grown to blend those ideas along with our contemporary present and things happening in our modern life. I first started working with self-help graphics as a BFA student. Outside of school, I wanted to find somewhere to go and work and make prints after we didn't have access to the college facilities anymore, and that brought me to self-help graphics. So I would start to hang around and learn how self-help worked, and it was also the place that I got into my first art show, and that was back in 2007. So since then, I've done all kinds of things with self-help graphics and have been involved with them for quite a long time. All right, so my artwork is called Living, Growing, Balance, and I wanted to create a piece that had a combination of elements to talk about different types of things. So I started off with this wrought iron structure that plants are usually sitting on, and I created an image where one triangle sits on top of another, and they kiss in the middle at the points to symbolize like a bone structure, the skeletal structure that carries all the weight, kind of like us humans. And then I have the living, growing component, the more uncontrollable component, the plants that are growing around it, the living life, and the fragility of it. I wanted to use the plants as a symbol for all of those things. And then I create a little imbalance in the piece with the two golden orbs that are at a diagonal in the artwork. And those elements are used to represent the historical past, our ancestors, and those little golden nuggets of knowledge that they leave behind. So I put them at an imbalance, and while everything else is somewhat balanced, is to symbolize the craziness in life and the things that we use to try to bring ourselves back and balance things out as much as we can. It's definitely stemming from previous pieces that I've made where I have living offerings and where I use memory and stories as a part of an offering process. And I also created the piece all digitally through the CMYK process. So in my case, I didn't actually go into the print shop to work because of COVID and distance, but instead I designed it all over the computer and used a CMYK layering process to translate the image and give it this pop art feeling with its half toning. And I sent the separations in and was able to create the work that way. It was different working in this way. So the printer and I, Dewey, were kind of communicating back and forth about how the print would be printed and how the formulas for the transparencies would work in the CMYK process. And we had some negotiation through there in helping the colors pop more and making them look more vibrant. And so things pretty much went on track, except for maybe some slight moderation to the yellow run in order to make the green seem more vibrant when it overlapped with the blue cyan. There was a cool little thing that happened that was a happy surprise. And in my positives, I designed on the computer and didn't notice the overlap of some of the plants over one of the orbs. in the lower left-hand corner. And so when it printed, it overlapped with the orb. And at first it was a complete block out where you wouldn't see it. At least that's what I was expecting. And then once I saw it happen, it was like a really happy surprise to see that there was some overlap and seeing that translucency to kind of pump up that blending of the historical past with the modern present, with the plants and those golden orbs coming together. So that was my experience working in the shop, and I've been really lucky and happy to work in that way with self-help this time around. So in terms of being a part of this Maestras Atelier, it's definitely been a huge honor. I have a great amount of respect for the women that have come through self-help before me, and it's been great to work with Yreina Cervantez as a mentor throughout this. As the curator, it's been great to hear the history with her and talk about what the real meaning was behind these Maestras Ateliers, and to talk about what it is to bring all these artists, these female artists together, and to hear what their ideas are surrounding their artwork right now. And right now, being in this time of really big change and this pandemic causing a lot of isolation, to have this dedicated time to sit and talk with each other about how our ideas are unfolding and share some of the knowledge we have and our experience in working with print, so that those that are maybe newer can learn from them and vice versa. And I think that's been a really great part of this process so far. So to be a part of this after having such a big gap in between the Maestras Ateliers is a big honor, and it's been a lot of fun so far.